Welcome to the Amateur's Advantage. I'm Laura Ashley, a Grand Prix dressage trainer and gold medalist rider, here to share the tools and principles that help riders and horses work in harmony no matter your discipline. Each week, I sit down with amateur riders, pro trainers, and equestrian professionals from every corner of the horse world to talk about the real stuff. Training struggles, mindset shifts, breakthroughs in the saddle, and how classical dressage can make us all better horsemen and women. Think of this as your tack room talk, your post-lesson debrief, and your barn family between rides. Let's get into it. Welcome to the Amateur's Advantage. I'm Laura Ashley, a Grand Prix dressage trainer and gold medalist rider, here to share the tools and principles that help riders and horses work in harmony no matter your discipline. Each week, I sit down with amateur riders, pro trainers, and equestrian professionals from every corner of the horse world to talk about the real stuff. Training struggles, mindset shifts, breakthroughs in the saddle, and how classical dressage can make us all better horsemen and women. Think of this as your tack room talk, your post-lesson debrief, and your barn family between rides. Let's get into it. Hello, I just got back from a horse show. I was at the Wellington Dressage Classic today, and it's time for a little horse show recap from the weekend. I have my number one guest over here, Muffin. She's adopted the blue chairs as her home, so she's helping us out today with filming, right? So this weekend was a good one. That's the short answer. It was a really good show weekend for me. It just took a little bit of patience and trust in the system in order to get to that spot. My one client showed third level test 3 on her new horse, and he's a wonderful schoolmaster. He knows all the FEI work and is really just the goodest boy. We're obsessed with him. She's shown third level before, so she felt confident with doing the test, but whenever you take a new horse in the arena, there's always just that little bit of, okay, like what might happen today? I don't know what to expect. And it's little details. It's like, all right, going into the first halt, oh, they got a little lower in the shoulders than I'm used to. Or, oh, wow, across the diagonal, they were really going. I didn't expect it. I didn't need to push them quite as hard as I do at home. Or maybe they blow through me in the corner because there's a funny sign over there. So all those little details kind of sneak up on you your first time in the show ring with a new horse. And that was the only mission for her this weekend, was go out and learn what your boy's like in a different atmosphere. So I was actually really happy with her and her very crash course into third level with her new guy. She's only had him for a little bit, I think over a month now. So we're still learning the buttons even at home. The one thing that she's struggling a bit with is her half passes. In her half pass left, it's hard for her to find that spot for her inside leg to really create that bend in the body. And when she does work for that bend, she ends up offsetting herself and kind of throwing herself off the outside of the horse, which then means she has to push harder with her outside leg to send the horse across the arena that he really doesn't need, because she's adding more from everywhere instead of finding the right spot to sit and then creating that lightness. So today in the warm-up, we worked on 10-meter circles in the walk, and we got him listening better to that inside leg, and it did produce a much better half pass. So all in all, we're super happy with those two. It was 2 consistent performances. We just kind of clocked through the test. There was no real bobbles, no real mistakes. And when we get to show again, it's just going to be adding a little bit more it factor, a little bit more brilliance to the ride. So when we were preparing for the test this week, we did the whole thing in, I guess we did start to finish maybe 2 days. And then the other days we did it in chunks. So we did like, okay, we're going to do all the trot tour and the walk, and then we're going to take a break and we're going to talk about it. And then we're going to do the canter work, and then we're going to be done for the day. And then the next day we did all the trot, but if I don't like it, I'm going to make you do it again. So she would maybe do her shoulder in and be like, no, that wasn't good enough. keep going around the arena on the next long side, hit it again. And then when you get back to where you were, we're going to do it a third time, and then we'll keep going with the test. So I kind of tell my riders that goal ahead of time as we're schooling into it. Is this a run through where you just have to figure it out? Just like in the show ring, I don't care what happens. If a helicopter lands next to the dressage arena right now, you need to keep riding. Or is it, we're at home, we're training, we're schooling, let's get the right feel and let's repeat as much as we need to till we go there. That's it. That's how I want to see it ridden. So we kind of go back and forth depending on the ride as to which way we run it. I have some riders that it's so hard for them to do it wrong and just keep going. They're like, but it was bad. Can I do the center line again? No, you cannot do it again. Keep going with the test, because some of them just get in their head and they're so fixated on what went wrong before that then they can't move on in their brain to what's coming next. And we have to remember that you can't fix what already happened. It already happened. It's in the past. What you can do is you can prepare better for the next thing that's coming. So yes, we did the warm-up, and before the show we were doing the test in segments, but then 2 days out we started doing the test from start to finish. And after she finished her ride, I would give her notes, and we would go through movement by movement and be like, all right, so in your halts, you're going to think about shoulders stay up. In your first medium, you're going to think go a little bit bigger. In your shoulder in, I'm pretty happy. Half circles, just look for your center line. In your half pass, more bend. Okay, next extension, I really like that one. That was pretty good. Other side trot work, smooth sailing. You can take a little risk here, be a little bit more brilliant because I like this side. Walk pirouettes, make sure you prep. Shorten the stride a little bit first. Stay in the turn a little longer. Ditto on the other side. Free walk, ask them to really swing and get better. Canter depart, ask a little bit sooner so you can do the depart on the straight line. Half pass, think bend, bend, bend. Half circle, don't forget to keep that outside leg back. Flying change, balance off the shoulders onto the hind legs. Make sure he's carrying in the right balance. Same thoughts all on the other side. Medium canter, go, go. Now come back once at P, I think it's P, and then come back again before the corner. Trot transition, keep thinking forward, don't stall out. Final turn, sharp turn, halt, shoulders up. So that was an entire third three, by the way, that I just ran through in my head. And I was seeing the horse in my head as I did it and visualizing how all those movements normally look compared to how I want them to see at their most brilliant. So I give my riders these little check-in points to think about for each movement, because you can't think about everything. And if you don't know your test by now, I can't help you. You're on your own at that point. Your test needs to be so committed to memory that you can think about how to ride. If you're still thinking about where to go, you don't have your focus on the right thing. The test itself, the pattern, needs to be second nature, and the movements themselves need to be able to be executed anywhere, anytime, with ease. If so, then you're ready for that level, and then we can start the challenge of putting those pieces together into your final performance. And we get to work on quality control and making everything just a little bit more special for the show ring. She did a really good job with all of her homework. By Thursday, I was feeling like she was really ready to step in the ring, and she was. She did a great job this weekend. So now we've got a few months at home where we're just going to be focused on training. And that means we're going to be schooling the quality of the movements. For her specifically, it's going to be focused on half passes. So many half passes, so much bending work. And that's going to mean we're doing haunches in at home a lot as well. Even though haunches in aren't in the third level test 3, it is a prerequisite to understanding how to do half pass. So if she can feel really confident in her haunches in, high likelihood that the half pass will improve. The other thing I'm going to have to do with her is riding everything in the trot tour in medium trot. Now, half halts are important. You should be rebalancing your horse here and there, but she's a little bit conservative, and I want her to get those hands forward and be like, yes, go, take me. I like this. Carry me across the arena. Good. I love power. And let him really show off the brilliance of his skates. So those are going to be the top 2 things that we work on with this particular rider. as she prepares for November, which will be her next show in the arena with him. Then our other boy that went to the show is actually owned by the same client. She has shown him training level, but this was his first time going out at first level this weekend. And he's been a really good boy, but he's been a challenge for other trainers in the past. And he's basically a big toddler. He has really strong opinions, and he doesn't like to be told no. And if you're firm with him, then he has big sensitive feelings, and he'll be offended that you said that about him because I'm such a good boy and I didn't want to do it wrong. I'm just upset. So I have to compromise with this one a little bit, because if I put on the pressure and I'm like, you'll do it, he's like, oh yeah, want to see what 1,500 pounds and 17 hands of me can do? So with him, it's always finding a way around the issue to convince him that my way's not really that bad and he should consider trying it. So he's been the goodest boy at home, and that's why we signed up for this show, because he's just been an absolute rock star, and he's schooling all of second level, and so first level should be a walk in the park for us. So I told her, put in the entries, let's do this. I'm ready to show him off and make him officially a first level horse, so that then for season we can rock and roll at second. Well, we got to a no-show venue, and he said, nope, no thank you, I am not happy here. There was this weird, like, tinkly sound on the roof of the covered arena, and then there was this loudspeaker that was extra loud, and it was playing rock music from, I don't know, like the 70s or so, that I thought was great. He did not like the music selection. He was highly offended. Every time the song changed, he's like, what is that? I was like, you're good. He's like, I'm not good. It's like, wait, breathe. Let's try exercising together. He's like, I can't do it. So, oh, I love him. But we had a chat about that. He's like, I can't exercise. I'm like, that's fine. How about we work on standing? He's like, I can't stand either. I'm like, well, you're going to either have to exercise or you're going to have to stand, buddy, because that's kind of the two options. He's like, okay, maybe I'll try walking, but I can only walk backwards and sideways. I'm like, oh, goodness. Thank goodness you're handsome, because you are a special boy. So Friday's ride had me stressing. Not stressing that anything so bad would happen that I couldn't handle it, but stressing because I was really excited to show off what this nice horse can do and do right by his owner, because she was so excited to see her baby do well, because it's been a long time coming on her journey with this horse to get him rideable and showing all the quality that she knew he had and I knew he had. We believe in him, but we just need all of the stars to align on the same day, and we were really hoping this weekend would be that day. So we have a little powwow about it on Friday, and I'm very blessed that my clients are so supportive and understanding. None of my clients give me that pressure. All of them allow me to do what's best for the horse, and whatever I produce, they are thrilled with. So she said, I don't care if you don't show. I just want him to have a good experience for the weekend. Can we take him in school? Can we go a little early? Can we do a little lunging first? Can I help you in the warm-up? Can I help hand walk him? Whatever we could do to get his brain to settle. We're trying everything, man. We just want this to go well. So on Saturday, we went to the show with an abundance of extra time so we could work through this together. And we did quite a bit of lunging, which I don't normally do a ton of. He actually likes the lunge in the beginning because he starts a little bit just holding in his body. He's not stiff. He's not unsound. He's just, okay, I'm going to start my day now. And then he takes a breath and he does snorty things, and then he gets his huge swingy gaits. But if I get on him cold, he's not even like reactive bad boy. He's just kind of like, I don't know if I can move with you up there today. But if I just give him those 3 minutes even on the lunge to trot and canter both ways, he's like, okay, I feel good. I'm ready. But this time it's a little bit different because he was looking at everything and he's like, what's that golf cart doing? Where is there a water truck over there? Oh my goodness, there's a horse way in the distance. A little bit of tiredness did serve my safety and his focus. That then when I got on him, he was more in tune with me. We did also take a moment where he just had to stand still and keep all 4 of his feetsies on the ground and just breathe and lower your head. Okay, now I'm going to climb on your back. And he was good. But then, of course, as soon as I was up there, he's like, let's back up towards the in gate. So my client was kind enough to close the in gate for me. And he's like, shucks, I'm not jumping out from here. Well, I guess I'll have to go forward. So there was maybe 2 times where he's like, I'd rather stand still. And she came over and she's like, I see you. I'm going to make you walk. He's like, okay, I'm walking. I'll do it by myself. I'll be a big boy. So that was Saturday. And we ended up scratching the ride, which was the best decision for him. He was already hot and tired from the bigger warm-up session, and he did the right thing. He walked, trot, cantered both ways. I got off his back, loosened his girth, threw up my stirrups, and told him he's a good boy. And we got him a shower, and we did some hand grazing, and we went over to where the scary, really noisy speakers were, and we stood in front of it, and he took a breath. So we went home, and we gave him lovings, and tried again the next day, which is today. We went early again, and he is not a 2-a-day horse. He's a pretty big boy, so he fatigues out kind of quickly, and his muscles get tired, and he's like, oh man, dressage is hard. I'm like, you are literally born and bred for this. Your conformation screams dressage horse. This should be so easy for you. He's like, yeah, I know I'm supposed to be an athlete, but if I could just do photo shoots for like horse tack magazines, that's really more how I see my life going. Like, I'm just the handsome jock. I'm not really the athletic jock. They're a little different. So we have to convince him that, like, you are really an athlete. You are strong. You are capable. Come on, buddy. We have faith in you. So today we did a very short lunge, like his normal length that we would do at home, and he was super chill. So I got on him in that warm-up ring, and he went around like the goodest boy. We were very proud. And then his mom walked us to the actual warm-up arena. And he's like, if I go in that gate, then I'm going to have to do more exercise. So his mom escorted him through the gate. And then he was a big boy. And he was good with the other horses. And he walked, trot, cantered. And literally in the middle of the warm-up in front of everybody, I'm like, good boy, yes, such a good man. And like, I don't care. My horse is happy. I'm going to be obnoxious. Y'all can deal with me. Sorry. My horse is going to hear that he's a good boy, and the rest of you are going to hear it too, because I'm so happy right now. So he was the goodest boy. I like flying dismounted him off of this horse as soon as he stopped. And I was like, you're the best. And I ran up my stirrups, loosened my girth, and gave him big kisses on the nose and scratches and told him this was what we wanted. This was it. See, it can be easy. You're really good at it. And he's like, okay. I do see your perspective. I am good at it. So we took him back, gave him a nice big shower, and let him have some time to just decompress in the stall. He got a nice sippy of water. He had some hay. He made buddies with the horse in the next stall behind him. They did like kissies over the stall wall, and he was feeling much better. So then I made the decision, which was a risky one, that I was going to go cold into the horse show after this. So I tacked him up at like 15 minutes, I think, before our ride time. And I went straight into the holding area, and we just started walking. And his mom was there in case I needed help getting in the in gate. And we just walked a little. And as soon as the judge sat back down from the lunch break, I was like, all right, we're going in. And that was my first trot, was right into the arena. Because I told him, I was like, if you are a good boy, it is 6 minutes. That is it. I want 6 more minutes of your life. Will you please try it for me? And he thought that was okay. So we had a great test. There was definitely some moments where steering was a compromise. Once again, I'm going to use that word compromise. We were coming through the corner in the canter to go onto the diagonal. I did not go near that corner. I went like from A, totally bypassed F, and then just kind of like curved-ish towards the diagonal. I was nowhere near F. It's all right, though, because I kept the canter. I didn't make my horse angry. Yeah, I could have had a better bend, but the essence of that movement wasn't the corner. The essence of that movement was my downward transition coming up from canter to trot. So I sacrificed that corner. So I had to be strategic and tactful and know how much I could press him for more without rocking the boat. And it all paid off. So there was definitely stuff that I know we can do better. I know he's got even bigger, more swingy gaits. I know that I can show a little bit better bend in one of the two half circles. I know my stretchy trot can go further downward. I know he has an even more, level lengthening across the diagonal. I know his walk can have a little bit more march to it. I know he could have more throughness in the trot to canter transition. I actually felt pretty good about my canter circles. We talked about that diagonal being interesting. My second trot to canter transition was like a half a stride behind my aids. He went, but it was maybe like when his hip was at the letter instead of when his shoulder was at the letter. And then that circle was when I finally felt like I had my horse. I was like, oh, this is a good canter. I like this one. And then the downward to trot was really smooth. Last trot diagonal kind of felt like a rock star. And then final center line, I'm like, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. I didn't mess up. We got an 8 on our last halt, so that made me very happy. And as soon as I saluted, the judge goes, nice test. I'm like, oh, that means I did good. Because they don't just like say that to be generous. Because this was a CDI level judge. He was like a big time judge. And the scores were coming in not too low, but like appropriately challenging this weekend. He was not giving away any Santa Claus points. There was no extra gifts just because your horse is pretty and you're a cute kid on a pony. This guy's used to seeing the best riders in our country in the CDI at Wellington every weekend. And he judged the same as he judges every other horse, every other show. So he was totally accurate in his marks, but you had to earn it if you were going to get a good score for him. And I walked out going like, yeah, I know there's some things I could do better, but if the judge said that this was a good ride, like, okay, this is going to be a nice score. And it was a 71, I think 0.1%, so over 71%, which is huge news compared to where we started the weekend on Friday and then finishing with, I want to say it was high score of the day. Don't quote me on that. But it was definitely his best score ever and his top score now at first level. And I know there's still room for improvement. So if that was a 71% with a CDI judge at a new venue with kind of tiptoeing around the ride and him being a little tired from the big weekend, he's got like a 75 in there if everything plays out. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for the future of this horse. And he's going to show again in November as well. So he's going to end up doing first level with me in November on that Saturday. And then if he can be the goodest boy, which I think he will, I think we've got this handled now, then his mommy will get to ride him on the second day. And then if all that goes well, then December he'll get to go out second level and we'll get to do all the big boy stuff. So I think he's 10 now. So we're getting him caught up to age appropriate work, but I'm just so thankful that his owner trusted me to take the long road to get where we're going, because he needed these holes filled in his confidence, even more so than his foundational work, because he was scrunched together and kind of held up front and then got stuck in his body and then claustrophobic and then frustrated. And so we stripped this horse down to like open, long, low, loosey-goosey, stretchy, chuck the reins away. And by giving him that space, we unlocked his big boy gaits that we knew were in there. And now it's reinstilling his confidence that when you're not certain, just go forward. It's okay. We've got you. You're a good boy. And that's really starting to pay off, because now he's pushing from behind, so he's getting stronger behind. His muscling's totally different over his top line. And now when I ask him to carry me in the sitting trot or take a little bit more engagement behind in the lateral work required at second level, he's going to be a champ. So It's been an amazing weekend. It's been a long weekend, but a good weekend. And I had a ton of fun showing these two incredible client horses at the Wellington Dressage Classic. And next one's coming up in November. So that's our show update for the weekend. More to follow. Thanks so much for joining us today. That's it for this episode of The Amateur's Advantage. If you found something helpful, share it with a barn friend, subscribe wherever you listen, and leave a review. It helps more riders to discover the show and join our equestrian community. Don't forget to follow Laura Ashley Dressage on Instagram and other social media channels for more tips, behind-the-scene content, and updates on future episodes. Join us next week as we continue to unpack real-life training challenges, mindset shifts, and how classical dressage principles can help solve problems for riders and horses of all disciplines. Thanks so much for joining us today. That's it for this episode of The Amateur's Advantage. If you found something helpful, share it with a barn friend, subscribe wherever you listen, and leave a review. It helps more riders to discover the show and join our equestrian community. Don't forget to follow Laura Ashley Dressage on Instagram and other social media channels for more tips, behind-the-scene content, and updates on future episodes. Join us next week as we continue to unpack real-life training challenges, mindset shifts, and how classical dressage principles can help solve problems for riders and horses of all disciplines.